Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjano Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjano Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Bijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjano Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjano Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Sri Radha Madhava ki Sri Radha Giridhari ki Jai Jayo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Puri Brajika Jaja Shudra Shri Maharaj Divine Grace Amai Charanara Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Jayo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Puri Brajika Jaja Shudra Shri Maharaj Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai Tukoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Grantara srimadbhagavatam ki Jai Samaveda Bhakti ki Jai Go Premanandi All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. This morning, August 19th, 2019, reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, 17th chapter. Is everyone awake? Text 32. It's 20th. Just imagine it's Krishna knocking on our heart. Let me in, let me in. It gets louder and louder if we don't let him in. So. Floating in there. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrijam Naram Jaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'll try it anyways. Hopefully it's Tulsi. So the verse. Nunam Badeshasya Samhitam Janais. Nunam Badeshasya Samhitam Janais. Tanmayaya Durjayaya Kritamabhi. Nalakshate Yastvakarodakarayad. Yonekeka Paratascha Ishvaraha. Nunam Bateshasva Samahitam Janais. Tanmayaya Durjayaya Kritatmabhi. Nalakshate Yastvakarodakarayad. Yonekeka Paratascha Ishvaraha. Nunam Bateshasva Samihitam Janais. Tanmayaya Durjayaya Kritatmabhi. Nalakshate Yastvakarodakarayad. Yonekeka Paratascha Ishvaraha. Please chant. Tanmayaya Durjayaya Kritatmabhi. Nalakshate Yastvakarodakarayad. Sami, there's an I missing there. It's Samihitam before the H. Well, at least according to this version. Samihitam. Nunam Bateshasva Samihitam Janais. Yonekeka Paratascha Ishvaraha. Nunam Badeshasva Samihitam Janais. Tanmayaya Durjayaya Kitarmadihi. Nalakshate Yastvakarodakarayad. Yoneka eka paratascha ishvaraha. Ladies? Nunam Badeshasva Samihitam Janais. Tanmaya Durjayaya Kritatmabhihi. Nalakshate Yastvakarodakarayad. Yonekeka paratascha ishvaraha. Nunam Badeshasva Samihitam Janais. Tanmaya durjayayat kritatmabihi. Nakshadeyastvakarorakaryad. Yoneka eka paratascha ishvara. Nunam vadeshasva samihitam janais. Tanmaya durjayaya kritatmabihi. Nalakshadeyastvakarorakaryad. Yoneka paratascha ishvara. Nunam vadeshasva samihitam janais. Tanmaya durjayaya kritatmabihi. Nalakshadeyastvakarorakaryad. Yoneka eka paratascha ishvara. Synonyms. Nunam, surely. Bhatta, certainly. Well, nunam bhatta means surely, certainly. So this is something, listen to this verse. No doubt about it. So you can use that in your day-to-day. What was last week's one? When you wanted to call someone a fool or something, a verse we did, remember that? So this is another one. If you want something like, I want a sweet ball. Nunam bhatta, certainly, certainly. Okay. Ishasya, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Samihitam, activities plan. Janai, by people. Tatmaya, by his potency. Durjayaya, which is unconquerable. Akrita atmabihi, who are not sufficiently experienced. Na, never. Lakshyate, are seen. Yaha, he who. Tu, then. Akarot, created. Akarayat, caused to create. Yaha, one who. Aneka, many. Eka, one. Parataha, by his inconceivable potencies. Cha, and. Ishvaraha, controller. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord, although you are one, by your inconceivable potencies you have expanded yourself in many forms. Through the agency of Brahma, you have created this universe. You are therefore directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are not sufficiently experienced cannot understand your transcendental activities because these persons are covered by your illusory energy. Please repeat. My dear Lord, although you are one, by your inconceivable potencies, you have expanded yourself in many forms. Through the agency of Brahma, you have created this universe. You are therefore directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are not sufficiently experienced cannot understand your transcendental activities because these persons are covered by your illusory energy. Purport. God is one, but he expands himself in a variety of energies, the material energy, the spiritual energy, the marginal energy, and so forth. Unless one is favored and especially endowed with grace, he cannot understand how the one Supreme Personality of Godhead acts through his different energies. The living entities are also the marginal energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma is also one of these living entities, but he is especially empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Brahma is supposed to be the creator of this universe, actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate creator. In this verse, the word Maya is significant. Maya means energy. Lord Brahma is not the energetic, but one of the manifestations of the Lord's marginal energy. In other words, Lord Brahma is only an instrument. Although sometimes plans appear contradictory, there is a definite plan behind all action. One who is experienced and is favored by the Lord can understand that everything is being done according to the Lord's supreme plan. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurunminitam Jena Daismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Dena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabadandikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchika Padrupascha Kripashntu Pevacham Patidanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. So with your blessings and kind wishes, I'll say a few words here. Let us all pray that the gentlemen upstairs do a good job. Right? They're making a lot of noise. Let's just all pray that the floor goes down nicely. Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. So Bhumi is speaking here, and it's very easy to cross-reference this verse in many different places. This is what his parampara means, that one is speaking the same knowledge as one's predecessors all the way back to Krishna. A few days ago, Dravida, you quoted a verse in the morning. One of the acharyas said that it didn't really matter who's saying, revealing a particular point of truth. It could be a pure devotee, it could be a neophyte devotee, it could be here, it could be there. It's even someone in the spiritual world speaking, but one thing to note is they're all going to say the exact same thing because it's tattva, it's truth. There's nothing different. There's nothing different. They're all saying the same thing. So Bhumi here, because she's a nice devotee, she's speaking the absolute truth, as is explained in many different places. Now, one very important point brought up here, and we'll read a little bit from the Bhagavad Gita. There's what's called the transformation of energy, and then there's also the, what is that called? Expansion of energy. In other words, God is there, He's one. Now the impersonalists, their idea is transformation. God's transformed Himself into everything. There's been a transformation. This is all God. Emanation, that's it. Vaishnava is the emanation theory, that everything is emanating from the Supreme Lord, and although everything is emanating from Him, He remains the complete balance. Now, who goes to Ishopanishad class at night? You hear that teacher. There's Om Purnamada Purnamidam, right? Perfect, everything's emanating from the Supreme Absolute Truth, but He remains the complete balance. He remains complete. He's not depleted in any way whatsoever. So that's the understanding of emanation. An example given, even though it's a mundane example, is the sun. So much energy is emanating from the sun, but it's still there. Now they say that sooner or later the sun will exhaust itself. But we know that's true because of philosophy, that ultimately everything in this material world comes to an end. But they really have no idea how the sun is emanating so much energy, where it's all coming from, and actually how long it will be. There's no way to calculate it. They say within a few moments the sun emanates more energy than all of mankind has used since beginning of recorded history. So much energy is coming from the sun, but they don't really know how it's coming, how long it's really been there, and how long it will last. But the sun is still there. It's not that we have to worry that it's going to get a little dimmer tomorrow, starting to lose it. No. So in the exact same way, well actually in a more perfect way, the Supreme Lord, Ishvara, Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda Sarakarana Karanam. That Govinda, everything is coming from Govinda, but Govinda is actually perfect and complete. It's not depleted. He's not transformed. So that's the impersonalist idea. And that's why they have different sayings. I was doing a puja the other day at someone's house, And they were all Westerners. And a bunch of them go to gatherings. The woman, very nice lady, she organizes different retreats, at the Buddhist monastery there in Warner Springs and different places, and they do have different meditations, and they have shamans come in from South America. It's a real hodgepodge of all kinds, or a mixture of all kinds of spirituality from all over the world. But one of the persons made the point that they were hoping that the universe would help her out. Good things would come from the universe. Well, the question is, who's the universe? What does that mean? Is that like asteroids, the rings of Saturn? Well, when you say the universe has given me something, or I am asking for a benediction or blessing from the universe, who's that? See, there's impersonalism. Like God is everything, and then somehow or other I pray, and then the universe gives me something. That's impersonalism in the guise of some kind of spirituality, but it's actually quite rude if you think about it. I was trying to think of an example. I didn't say anything, except where I went on a whole explanation about personalism and how everything's a person behind everything, and we're praying to Sudarshan and Narasimha-deva. It was a Narasimha Sudarshan Puja, in Krishna and so on. So I didn't directly say anything to her to offend her, but I just went on talking about ultimately there's a person behind everything. And so I was trying to think of one example. Here's an example. Christmas. Or your birthday. Let's say your birthday. So we don't have to go into a different religious faith or something like that. Your birthday. So Ramapati goes home for his birthday, right? His kids and his wife miss him a lot. So he has a birthday party, right? And all kinds of friends come. And so many people give you gifts. And you just say, look, the universe has given me so many gifts. Your wife's going to slap you in the face. She worked so hard, right? Oh, the universe has made a nice party for me. The universe cooked a nice meal. No, it's people. It's a person. Persons, right? How offensive, right? Your kids worked so hard, made some presents for you, your wife, all your friends, and you don't even acknowledge them. You say the universe gave me these things. That's rude, and it's offensive, and it's not correct, right? Just think about that. So when we say, oh, the universe has given me this, the universe did this to me, that, what are we saying? You're skirting the issue. You're covering the reality with impersonalism. No, there's a person there. You're a person, and there's someone personally involved in your life, and that's Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of God in the heart. He's the ultimate person in our lives. And then there's all these other personalities who are manifestations of the Supreme Lord. Just like here in this verse, who's the big person that's being referred to in the verse here? Lord Brahma, a very big person. He's like number one pious person in the universe. And he's empowered by the Lord to create everything. He's empowered to create everything. Empowered. That means Krishna says, here you go. You have the ability now to create the whole universe. In his previous life, Brahma didn't have that power. And in his next life, he may not have that. He won't have that power. But in this particular life, Krishna has empowered that jiva with the ability to create everything, so to speak. But it's actually Krishna working through that jiva, because of the jiva's ardent desire to serve the Lord in that particular way. There's a qualification Lord Brahma has. He's very, very qualified to perform that service, and Krishna reciprocates. And that jiva actually wanted to do some big service for the Lord, and also to be a big controller, control the universe, create a universe. Yeah. So Krishna is personally, or directly and indirectly, maybe you have would you mind going to a particular verse? The first verse of the Bhagavatam, 1:1:1. So I wanted to read a little bit here from the Bhagavad Gita. You're going to read it. Let me read these first. Well, actually, do you have it right there? Okay. Here's the microphone. This is almost this verse we're reading today. Again, right in the very first verse of the Bhagavatam. Translation.
Read the Sanskrit.
No, English translation.
O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who at first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth.
Yeah. So you can see how it just parallels today's verse. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, the two verses that touch upon or elaborate actually on what we're discussing, how Krishna is the ultimate cause of all causes, yet he's working through this material nature, but he's not transformed into this material nature and has lost his personality. That's the fourth and fifth verses of the 9th chapter. And if you like to read the purports later on during the day, we're just going to touch upon a few things because of the time. But the 4th verse, Mayatitamidam sarvam jagat ayaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham tesha vastitaha. By me, my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. And then the next one, na chamatstani bhutani pasyame yogamaishwaram bhuta brinna cha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation. And in the purports, Prabhupada elaborates on all of these different points very nicely, very perfectly. But the beginning of the purport to text 4, Prabhupada quotes this verse, Atakshi Krishna namadi nabhavahedgram indrayai sevamukhe jivado swayameva spratyada. Because in the verse and purport, there's an allusion to this, that those who are not sufficiently experienced cannot understand your transcendental activities because these persons are covered by the illusory energy. And in the purport also, Prabhupada touches upon this. Now there is another verse quoted most notably by Gopinath Acharya to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya could not understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there's a verse by Lord Brahma, Lishanugrahitahi. You need a little drop of mercy. Yes, that little. Unless one has the mercy, even a drop of mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can't understand. One just can't understand. And Sarvabhauma asked, "Why don't I?" He said, "That's why you don't understand." And then later on, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed himself to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya did comment to Gopinath Acharya that now I have the mercy. I got the mercy, and I can understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this Atak Shri Krishna Namadi, that means that with our dull senses, we can't understand Krishna. We just can't understand it. This grahayam indrayai, our senses are very, very, very dull and covered. Just like you have a very, very thick glove on, what can you feel? You can't feel anything. So our senses are like that. There's a lot of coverings over our senses, the material nature, in many different ways. But by the process of devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the Lord's holy name, it says the tongue, actually devotional service starts, Sevan Mukhehi Jivado. Jivado means the tongue. Adao. The beginning of spiritual life is the tongue. Actually, it's the beginning, middle, and end. Isn't it? Never stops. The chanting of the Lord's holy name, glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here's a good one, taking prasad, right? These activities done regularly with full faith and devotion, gradually what happens, one's senses become purified and one can perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly and also indirectly. That's what is referred to in the verse here. What does indirectly mean? Is that wherever you look in this material world, you actually see Krishna, because you instantaneously understand that everything is Krishna's property, right? Just like whenever you see that bag there, who will you think of? Your bag. No, your bag. No, think of you. The big one. You brought it, right? That's yours, right? So you said, oh, you think of her, right? That? Or Jayashri. That's Jayashri's bag. That's Jayashri's bag. You just... Right. Well, why did she leave that bag here? What's in that bag? Does she have a stash of maha in that bag? So many things you'll think about, but you'll connect it with her automatically. So isn't it amazing how much illusion we're in when we look around and we don't see any connection to Krishna? That's the barometer. That's the barometer. But the pure devotee, wherever they glance, they see Krishna because they see Krishna's energy. Another example Prabhupada gave, which is easy to understand, because parents have so much affection for their children. If you see your little child's shoes or something like that, oh, you think of your child. Then you may ask, why did my child leave his shoes right here? Oh, because he grew up in the Hare Krishna movement. They leave their shoes wherever they want to leave their shoes, right? They just dump them anywhere. So, but immediately think of the child. You can't not think of the child when you see the child's shoes, because of so much affection is there. And in fact, sometimes mothers, they'll save the children's baby clothes. Yeah. They bronze the shoes, but they sometimes even save so many. Ask me how I know. They save the different outfits of the child, to remember them like that. So, because you think like that. So, but that's the process. So Bhumi is making these different revelations here about this transformation and emanation, and how Lord Brahma, through the agency of Brahma, the Lord's creating everything. Actually, Krishna is the real creator. Just like what is that in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, and when he addresses him as Savyasachin. You know what Savyasachin means? He's ambidextrous. He could shoot arrows with it like that. He said, just be nimitta matram, be an instrument in this fight. I'm doing everything. Krishna's doing everything. That doesn't mean the jiva doesn't exist or has no free will, but he's empowering us to do different. That whatever potency we have is coming from Krishna. Is coming from Krishna. So like that. So that's an important point also. That whatever power we have, it's coming from Krishna. And even the power to become Krishna conscious is coming from Krishna. Therefore we pray to the Lord, please give me the ability to execute my devotional service. Like that. We're dependent upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But we're persons. So it's not that when we say become a puppet in the hands of the Lord, that's an expression, but it doesn't mean the devotee loses his free will or his personality. It just means he wants to act exactly according to the will of the Lord. And that was brought up here at the very, very end here about the plans. Although sometimes plans appear contradictory, there is a definite plan behind all action. One who's experienced and is favored by the Lord can understand that everything is being done according to the Lord's supreme plan. So Krishna is behind everything. He's behind everything. That's why the devotee, whether they're in happiness or distress, they're happy, because they're seeing Krishna is directing all of these things. And they see Krishna's hand. Whereas the materialist doesn't see that. They see the universe is on my side, or the universe is against me. The world, some people see the world as a very horrible, frightening, scary, painful place, and other people see the world as, what is that? Sukha. Yeah, Sukhayate. Devotees see like that. But just, But that's impersonalism. It's not the universe. Krishna's there, and according to our karma and our desires and so on. So many things are going on. There's a perfect plan. Did you know today Krishna has a plan for you? Just like a temple commander in the morning. You used to have these meetings here, remember that? Bhishma Deva and everyone. They got a plan for all the devotees. You have a daily schedule. So Krishna actually has a plan for every single living entity in existence today. He's got a plan. He's like the Adi temple commander, right? He's got a plan for everyone today. So what is our business? Let's find out what the plan is. What Krishna's plan is. The Prabhupada said, you have your plan, Krishna has his plan. But whose plan is going to win out? Right, that's Krishna's plan. And so we have to make our plan in alignment with the Lord's plan, and then boom. Just like when you're sailing. You ever go sailing? If you get behind the wind, it's a lot easier than trying to go against the wind. Yeah, so just you fill your sails and go if you try. And that's how you win a race. The person who can make sure they keep ahead of the wind. There's even a trick in sailing where you go in front of someone, you block their wind, and you see that, because the wind's blowing, and then all of a sudden they lose the wind in their sail, and you cut ahead of them, and so you got to keep whoever that person is who can keep the wind in their sail. They keep moving. So you just got to, but you have to be going in a certain direction for the wind to fill your sails. So if our lives to be filled with Krishna, there's a plan and there's a way to do that, and we're learning that. And what is that? The tension, or the aggravation or frustration in our life as devotee comes, and we're just trying to give up, let go of our plan, and accept Krishna's plan. Right? Because we're conditioned to have the plan of the conditioned soul. Like that. So I have to give that up. It's uncomfortable. Just like giving up something bad. Does anyone have any bad habits? No. Two honest people in the audience. Yours is lying. We all have bad habits, so to give them up, it's not easy because it's a habit. Habit is something we're used to doing it. So, like that. We're going to give it up. They say 21 days sometimes. You can develop a good habit in 21 days, like that. So, and if you think about the habit of being fully Krishna conscious in one lifetime, that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada's mercy. Unbelievable. Millions of lifetimes of doing something one way, and in one lifetime it can all change. How potent is Krishna consciousness? How potent is the holy name? Devotional service? Prasadam? Unbelievable. There's nothing more powerful than that. Just think, you say, how powerful is the mercy of the Lord? One lifetime, you can actually completely change what we're doing for millions of lifetimes. Where is the mercy of the Lord? How merciful is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? That's pretty merciful. We can't even calculate that, how merciful it is. The pastime of, it's time for me to end, but it's just a great pleasure reading the pastime of Yamaraj discussing Jagai and Madai and all their sins and how they were delivered. Impossible, unbelievable. This is hearing Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj explaining it, and I don't know what scripture he was referring to, but he said they had a go-down. That means a storehouse of records for Jagai and Madai. And all the scribes are so tired of having to write down all their sins like that. And he joked, he said, well, in Kali Yuga, that's why they have computers to do this, because we're all so sinful in Kali Yuga. Previous ages, they could do it by hand, but now we need a computer. And anyways, Yamaraj was stunned. As the pastime begins, he's sitting on his chariot. He's not moving. He's actually stunned and crying. And the demigod was asking, what is it? And he just was revealing this whole pastime of Jagai and Madai. He couldn't believe what had happened, that they were actually delivered. And he said that they were Brahmins. They were in a Brahmin family, and they had the Puranas in their house. But they would use their Puranas because the Puranas explain all the different sins people perform in their reactions. So he said that way they went through and made sure they performed every single sin mentioned in the Puranas, because they were so sinful. Let's do this one today. Let's do that one today. They were so sinful like that. But how merciful Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to be able to deliver someone like Jagai and Madai. So went on a few tangents there. Any questions or comments on the different points in this verse? Yes, Balaram Das, Brahmachari.
Krishna. That's a little loud, huh? Yeah, you're mentioning something that made me think about this, that, sometimes people, they pray, like you're saying, praying to the universe, or not praying to the universe, oh, the universe gave me this, and, it's impersonalism. So, sometimes devotees, they pray, or they say, oh, I've been praying for so many, whatever, months or years or so long, but to become a better devotee, to become a good devotee, or to give up certain materialistic desires or stuff like that. But, they may say, hey, well, I'm not feeling as much reciprocation as I think I should be. It just doesn't seem, in other words, it doesn't seem like it's really working that well. So, I think that's a very common experience. So, what would we say to those people? Say, oh, well, maybe your prayers aren't so sincere, or maybe you need to become more serious, or do you really want this? So is it that the person actually doesn't really want it? And if they don't want it, then why are they spending every day praying for it? Because it's a little strange if you don't want something, but every day you're saying, Krishna, please help me, Krishna, please help me. You may say it many times a day, Krishna, please help me, Krishna, please help me. But why would you be saying that if you don't want it? And if you do want it, then some people say, well, where's the help here? I don't feel like I'm making as much progress as I think I should.
Okay, that's a very good question. Now, of course, everyone's situation has to be taken individually. But there is one thing, a nice reference to this Sadhaputta gives in one class. He says that, Krishna consciousness isn't something that's just handed to us. We all have to make our own endeavor. The experiment of Krishna consciousness. That's why it's called scientific, because you have to make a personal experiment. And someone may say, hey, I chanted Hare Krishna, it didn't work. I was a devotee for some time, it didn't work. And he gives the example that in science, if you perform an experiment out of your textbook, your Chemistry 101 textbook or this or that, and it doesn't work, what's the teacher going to say? It's a bad book. He's going to, who is responsible for the experiment not working? You are. The teacher's going to say you did something wrong. Let's go through it and see what you did wrong. You didn't mix it right, or the temperature was wrong, or something, but they're not going to say the textbook is wrong, because so many people in the past did this experiment, and it works. So the fact that it didn't work for you doesn't mean the experiment's wrong. It means something's wrong with the way you perform the experiment. So that's one thing, the beginning point. So if, now, what did we do wrong? Because, otherwise, Krishna's wrong when he says, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is wrong, Prabhupada's wrong. If they say, here's the experiment, do it, you'll become Krishna conscious. And we say, well, we didn't, so all these personalities must be wrong. Bhagavad Gita's wrong. Well, that's quite a statement. And all of the persons in the past, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter, many persons in the past became Krishna conscious. They attained perfection by worshiping me. So we have all that history there. So what's the problem? Well, it could be us. Let's think that maybe in a moment of humility, maybe it is us. But let's see what the problem is. Maybe we're not performing it. We're not sincere. Maybe we're not doing this experiment properly. We're not chanting properly. Maybe it's like the elephant. The elephant goes, cleans itself very nicely, then comes out and throws dirt all over itself, right? That's one example given. So we pray like anything, give up so many bad habits, but we don't give them up, like that. So, and also how, just like I said, it's amazing, millions and millions of lifetimes, that's going to take a while. Like Burijan in his Japa book, he says that we talk about the Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhavamaha. The mirror of the mind is covered with some dust. So how much dust do you think is on that mirror? He says like 30 meters. He said, he said, you got to understand, it's not like a light dusting. Millions and millions of lifetimes of the bodily concept of life and all kinds of modes of nature. What do we think is on that mirror? Just a little like poof, poof, and we're completely Krishna conscious? He said it's like 30 meters of dust. That's a lot of dust. It's going to take some time. So we have to be very, very patient. What does Rupa Goswami say? Utsahanishtayadharyat. Enthusiastic, patient, determined, all these different things. It takes time. Does the devotee want something instant? In today's society, everything has to be today or yesterday, right? So you order something on Prime, and if it comes in 3 days instead of 1 day, you're all upset, right? You want things immediately. So things take some time. Just like if we have a very serious, anyone had a serious illness? It took some time. Some people, it takes some months or years to get over an illness, right? It just takes time because of the seriousness of the situation. So we have to discuss with that devotee these different points. Are they conscious of how serious the illness is? And how, are we, how conscientious we are in our praying? Just like sometimes devotees joke, but it's true. You're there chanting japa, asking for service, and the temple commander says, "Hey, Prabhu, I got a lot of service for you." And you go, "I'm too busy. I don't want to do it." Well, you were praying to Krishna. Krishna, give me something to do. Give me some service. And then this temple commander says, "I got some service for you." And you go, "I don't want to do it." Right? So we have to keep our ears open. Krishna's reciprocating with us in many, many different ways. We have to become sensitive to that. Maybe Krishna is answering. Right? That's all in with this story. The story about the guy, the flood coming? You know that story? So the flood's coming. There's a flood. And they go around the neighborhood going with the whatever, police or whatever. There's a flood coming. We advise everyone to leave their home. Come on, get in the bus, get in the car. He goes, no, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. So he stays there, and all of a sudden the river starts rising and the flood comes, right? And then right through the front door, so what does he do? He goes up to the roof. And then sure enough, one of his neighbors comes by and says, "I got a boat. This is it. I got to leave. I was stupid like you. I stayed, but now I got my boat. Hop in. We'll drive off." He goes, no, it's okay. It's okay. So he's on the roof, and then one last thing is the National Guard comes. There's a helicopter. And he's on his roof, and the water's rising. And they say, "Come on, grab the ladder, let's go." Like that. And he says, no, it's okay, like that. And then the water comes. And just before he drowns, he says, "God, why didn't you save me? I'm a nice person. God said, why didn't you save me?" And then God says, "Well, I sent the police to get you in a car. I sent the boat. I sent the helicopter. Why don't you listen? I sent all these things to help you, and now you're saying, oh, now you're praying. I tried to save you. Well, you won't listen." So a lot of times we have to listen. We have to listen very carefully to see if we can hear Krishna's voice. He's trying to reciprocate with us. He is answering our prayers. Yes?
So I just have a question. So you were speaking about how Krishna has a plan, you said, for every living entity, every day. That's a little bit of a big pill to swallow. And it's more understandable in relation to the life of a devotee, but in terms of the materialist who is not endeavoring for Krishna consciousness or to find out who God is, per se, you can see so many of them acting out their own plans. "Oh, I'm going to go to the mall today. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do that today," and they do it. So how can we understand this point that Krishna has a plan for them every day, or Krishna's planning their day every day, even though they're engaged in their own?
Okay, that's a good point. it comes back to the point I made in the class about seeing everything, Krishna's hand in everything. Now, Krishna has a plan, an absolute plan for every single living entity. That's why he created. Right? Every jiva is the eternal spirit soul, belongs in the spiritual world, enjoying Satchidananda, okay, devotional service, the ecstasy of devotional service. That's the plan Krishna has for every living entity. Now, some, they're not into that plan right now. You know, just like your parents may plan for you to go to school. You say, I don't want to go to school. You say, okay, I'll just back off a little bit. But that's the plan the parents have. You get an education, and you know. So the point is that we have our plan, but even our plan, where do we get the ability and all the facilities to execute our plan? It's all coming from Krishna. Krishna's in the heart. Smriti jnanam apohanam cha. From me come remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness. So the ability to be in Maya, where's that coming from? You want to go to the mall, right? So your ability to go to the mall, to earn the money that's in your back pocket, all the things in the mall you want to buy, where's all that coming from? That's also Krishna's plan. He has a plan to give facility to the jiva in the material world who's trying to forget him in such a way where eventually that jiva will come back to his right senses. So this material world is all part, there's not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord, as it said. So how seeing how everything is the plan of the Lord. Krishna's facilitating everything. He's in the heart. Doesn't mean he wants to, right? He doesn't want to have us for us to be in illusion and in suffering, but we keep pushing. So he said, okay, go ahead and try, and I'll give you the facility. Because he knows for a fact we'll never be happy. We'll never be happy. You know, just like sometimes you hear about a little child wants to run away from home. I can't handle it anymore here. Did someone tell the story? Did you tell it? His parents said, here, take a suitcase, you know, go ahead, mother helped him out the door. Can I make you a sandwich? Or, you know. So, you know, the kid's an illusion. Because, you know, he'll never be happy. He'll get down to the end of the block and come home. You know, it's like, oh, little kid. You know, he just can't be happy without his parents. But he's thinking, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I've had it. So, oh, okay, let me get you a sandwich. You know, here's a little backpack. Good night, goodbye. You know. So it's helping the kid run away from home. But he knows he'll be back in 10 minutes. Or when it gets dark. Something like that. So Krishna's making out these plans. Oh, you want to go to the mall today? Okay. Inspire you to do this and that and everything. But the ultimate plan is bring you back around and become Krishna conscious. But don't mistake one for the other. In other words, everything is the plan of the Lord. Right? You ask for a donation. When Krishna tells me, I'll give a donation. You've heard that one before? You hear that one before? You ask a member of our community for a donation. They go, when Krishna tells me, I will give a donation. That's a good line, isn't it? Krishna, when he tells me, I will give a donation. Well, Krishna's telling you right now, and he's been telling you every day. Right? Krishna's saying it. Sarvam dharmam parijaja mamekam sharanam braja. Krishna's saying, manmanava. He's saying it every moment. He says, oh, when Krishna tells me. Krishna's telling you right now. Anything else? Yes.
Speaking of plans, I remember a quick saying said, man proposes and God disposes.
Yes. Yeah. Krishna's making all the arrangements. All the arrangements. Because it's like sometimes we have a plan and then nothing happens. What happened? Car doesn't work, money's gone, this person doesn't show up, this, you know. So we're completely dependent upon Krishna's plan and help to execute even the simplest thing in this material world. So we can end here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.